Alrighty. I think first of all, I want to apologize to Lowell and Craig, keeping you guys talking about I don't know what back there live for being a few minutes late. But, looking back at the tape from the ball game Saturday, I kind of feel the same way I felt after the game. I was really proud of our effort. I thought our players played really hard. They played tough. I thought not only were they physically tough, but they were tough-minded in fighting through some adversity that presented itself in the ball game against a really good team. Alabama's a heck of a football team, very well coached, and like I said, we fought like crazy. I felt like we ran out of time. Thought we might have had a chance there in the end if we could have had a little bit more time. But in the end, as hard as we fought, as physical as we played, as tough as we were, there's still plenty to clean up, right? Better never rests. Better never rests, and we can't rest. We've got to continue to strive to improve individually. We've got to continue to strive to improve collectively on each side of the ball and on special teams so that as a team we can continue to get better. There were some real opportunities in the game that I didn't feel like we really capitalized on. When you get in the red zone against quality opponents 5 times and you only come away with 1 touchdown, that's pretty dramatic. Where you have opportunities to score in the game, to extend a lead and not being able to take advantage of it. I think that stung. But I was proud of the offense of taking care of the ball, not getting any turnovers, not giving any turnovers. On the flip side, we didn't get any turnovers, and we've been working so hard at it in training camp that we've got to flip the script on that, and we've got to continue to attack the ball and create those plays for us defensively to get some short fields and whatnot. I think I know we touched on it Saturday as well, but I'd be remiss if I didn't thank our fans. What an unbelievable atmosphere at DKR, record-setting crowd, the energy, just the feel, the vibe, and let's not to forget, that was an 11 a.m. kick. And so for them to bring that for a morning ball game, I can't wait to see what they're going to look like Saturday night at 7 o'clock. So as we're evolving as a program, as we're growing as a program, as we feel a sense of us moving in the right direction, I think our fans do too. And looking forward to, as we continue to grow, that atmosphere in DKR continuing to grow and making this a very hostile environment to play in. So we've obviously got a great opponent this week. UTSA has, Coach Traylor's done a heck of a job. They've got really good players. They're well coached. As I touched on to the team, these guys play really hard. They play really hard in all 3 phases. They've got a dynamic quarterback who can make plays with his arm and his legs. So big challenge ahead of us. Obviously, we've got some injuries that are kind of looming that we don't know, whether it's Quinn, whether it's Deshaun Jameson, whether it's Hudson Card, whether it's Bijan. Quite frankly, all these guys are day-to-day. I know you guys are going to want to tell me an exact timetable, and you're going to ask me specifically, and I'm going to tell you now. They're day-to-day, guys. It's day-to-day. I really don't know. We're going to have to monitor them every morning to see where they're at. The beauty of it for all 4 of these guys, it's nothing structural. It's not surgery-driven. It's not broken. It's not ligament damage. So the point being, we just got to monitor them day-to-day, and we'll see who we can get back and when we can get them back. So with that, we'll open it up.
Raise your hand if you have a question, and go around. Start with Joe Cook on the far right.
In practice today, and if you all practiced yesterday, who took the first-string quarterback snaps?
That's for me.
Over here on your left, Brian.
Oh, okay, not say okay. I guess one thing that I was really curious about, and this goes back to the game, it's just you see that Hudson was limping at that point, and can you just describe the process that's going through your mind of play calling when, on this play the quarterback is supposed to roll out. Well, can't do that because he's hobbled, and just all of the things that went into the play calling when you switched quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of coaching. That's part of being a play caller. Our job, and I know I say this a lot, but our job is to put our players in the best position to be successful. And depending on the personnel we have out there, depending on the skill set of the players out there, depending on what is players capable of doing and doing at a high level out there, you try to put them in the best position to be successful. And so, you always have a game plan that you want to try to operate within. You always have contingency planning if that game plan doesn't work. And then you have to have contingency plans for injuries and when injuries occur. And, no one likes losing their starting quarterback in the first quarter. No one likes having your backup get injured in the second quarter and then having him try to fight through. But that's football. The game we play, the game we love, the game we coach, that's part of it. And the contingency planning is important. And then you just make the necessary adjustments and you try to do the things in the best interest of the players out there so that they can play at a high level.
Stay here on your far left, center.
Hey, Steve, you see Hudson limping noticeably, and he's booking it for that first down. It's a huge first down at the time. Players see that. They see a team. They see the leader doing it, selling out for the squad. What does that do for a locker room? Because we knew he wasn't 100%.
Well, I think it was huge for our locker room. I think you got to think back. 3 weeks ago or a month ago, we named Quinn the starter, and as I touched on with Hudson, as I touched on with the team, as I touched on with y'all, although Quinn was our starting quarterback, Hudson Card was still on our leadership committee. He still garnered a great deal of respect on our team. Because of the person that he is, the teammate that he is, and the player that he is. Hudson's a very quality player. So when something like that occurs and you see him get put into the fire and get injured and fight himself through it and give us a chance to win the ball game, with a big time completion to Casey Kane, the big scramble. I think that's inspiring to everybody. It was inspiring to me. I'm his coach. That guy's literally giving us his all, and he wasn't the only guy. I'd be remiss to think that, that not all the guys, there was a lot of players out there giving us all that they had, from cramps to, stingers to shoulders to, there's a lot of things going on in that game. It was a physical football game, but I think Hudson was just a prime example of the bond that this team has, the chemistry that we have. The willingness to fight for one another and to do it together, which as a coach I'm proud of.
Your far right, Terry.
Coach Sarkisian, concerning the product that the team put on the field and what you learned under Coach Saban, when you met in the middle of the field, do you think Coach Saban had a respect and was proud of that product that was on that field?
I hope so. You always try to gain the respect of your opponent. And knowing Coach Saban, he respects you going in. That's his approach to it. He always respects every opponent. But naturally, as a coach, you want to earn the respect of your opponent and the other head coach and the other players. And so, naturally, I would, as a guy who worked under him, knowing his approach, but also our style of play and the way we played that game. I'm hopeful when we shook hands in his mind, he respected the way we played the game. I thought our kids played hard. We ran out of time, but that's football.
Over here on your far left, Chip.
Steve, if Hudson couldn't have gone in the Alabama game, would Charles Wright have gone in? And can you talk about the progress Charles has made? Because I think Ben Ballard was your third-team travel quarterback last year. And then could you also tell us about Daniel Trejo, where you found him?
Charles was next man up, and he was ready to go if need be. I give Charles a lot of credit. He has made leaps and bounds, strides and leaps and bounds from a year ago this time as a true freshman to where he is today. I think he's got a good grasp of our offense, a good understanding of managing things. I think that he's throwing the ball much better, much more accurately. He's a lot more confident, which is needed at that position. So yeah, that would have been the scenario. Daniel Trejo, I thought after his first punt, really punted the ball extremely well. I think he hits a 61-yarder at one point, hits another, whatever it was, 48, 49-yarder to pin him down on the 1-yard line, a heck of a punt. So I thought he and Will Stone in the kicking game from punts and kickoffs really helped us control vertical field position in the game. Our net punt average, our net kickoff coverage average was really good. Met our goals of what we're looking for there, so hopefully we can continue to grow on that.
Coach, playing off the quarterback question, Malik Murphy, he's been on campus since January. Where is he as far as his development is concerned?
He's not healthy.
Okay.
You're on your left, Kurt.
Steve, I don't know how many missed tackles y'all had. Didn't seem like that many, but was there other things that worked schematically that you were really proud of that,
Yeah.
gave Alabama fits?
We did miss a few, but I thought the one thing that showed up to me that was glaring was our effort was really good. We were populating the ball really well, as I like to say, defensively. So when we missed, there was another man and another man there to kind of clean up the mess. One play stands out to me. They kind of threw a little bubble screen, and Jahdae Barron just goes and shoots his gun. Doesn't make the tackle, but stops the runner. Barron Sorrell's the next man there. He shoots his gun. Doesn't make the tackle, but makes the runner redirect again. And then you can count on the screen. I think there's 8 white hats at that point then around the football. And that's the style of defense we need to play. It's got to be fanatical effort. We've got to populate the ball. And now the next phase to that is we got to start punching those balls out. We got to start getting that ball loose and creating turnovers. I thought the other side of the game that I was encouraged by, I thought for the most part our situational awareness in the game was pretty good. We had some lapses, like I'm sure they may have had some lapses, but there were some things in the game that we recognized the situation and handled pretty well. I think about the punt, getting it, pinning that ball on the one. I think about the drive at the end of the first half to give us an opportunity to score. I thought we managed that really well. So there were some things in there that were really encouraging from a football IQ standpoint.
You're on the right, Ed.
Coach, with what happened in South Bend and College Station, is that going to be one of your messages this week to the troops that anything can happen any Saturday?
Well, I think everybody saw it. The easy thing for us is we got a great deal of respect for UTSA. I can't speak for the other schools that stub their toes in those ball games. You turn on the tape of UTSA, they get your attention quickly with their schemes, with their personnel, and the way they play the game. Clearly they had a lot of success last season, and then they've had 2 really hard-fought games here to start the year. Gut-wrenching loss to Houston, and then turn around with a great win versus Army, which is tough to do against a triple option. So they have our attention. That didn't take long this morning when we turned the tape on for them. They get your attention. We need to be ready to go.
In the middle, Bob.
Just back to the red zone offense. What did you see when you went back and looked at the tape that wasn't?
A variety of things. I think one, just a couple missed ops. Quite frankly, just a couple plays here and there that are off fingertips, or 50-50 plays, contested plays. 2, I would have liked to call it a little better than I did. And that's, like I said, you guys know me well enough. I'm as critical on myself as anybody, and I watch it that way. And then 3, they made some plays, and I would like for us to say I want us to execute better, which I think we need to. But they made some plays too. But, you just can't. We pride ourselves on our red zone execution, and we were great at it a year ago. We were really good last week, and we spend a lot of time there because the value of those points are so important, which we kind of learned the hard way Saturday. 1 for 5 in the red area. That's quite frankly, that's kind of the difference in the game. So we have to do a lot of things better down there. Our execution's got to be. We got to take it to another level. I got to make sure I'm calling the best stuff for us at the right times. And then it comes down to making plays, and when it's 50-50 or that tough block, man, you got to be able to make it. And so we're going to pour ourselves back into that to making sure that we're executing the way that we're accustomed to executing in the red area.
Stay in the front middle, John.
Coach, what is it that you like that Hudson does, and how different is the offense when he's out there?
Well, I think one, Hudson's got a great grasp of our offense. He has a real understanding of what we're trying to do, why we're trying to do it. I think obviously Hudson has a great deal of mobility, even with the hurt ankle. He was able to use his legs to create a couple first downs. I I think that, what we saw this past weekend, he's got a real knack for throwing the intermediate ball. And I even thought the deep ball he threw there to, I believe it was one was to Xavier, another one to Jay Witt. Those are both really good throws. It was very tight coverage. The ball didn't get completed, but I liked the throw. I liked the way he did it. So he took his shots. He made some intermediate throws. But his legs are probably one of the things that are different. He has the ability to run.
Back middle, Will.
Coach, in all the time that I've been here as a player and as a fan, there was something special about the energy from the crowd, the student section. Can you talk us through what it means to have a place where people come and they can't even hear themselves think? What does a crowd play in this weekend and for the rest of the season?
Yeah, so I touch on the pageantry of college football. Part of that is home field advantage. Man, there is nothing like coming into the stadium and running out of the tunnel and just the buzz in the air. I mean, you can feel it almost more than you can hear it. And that's one of the unique things that we have. This year we get to play 7 games at DKR. We've already played 2. We only have 5 more chances to go do this at home. And so I just feel like, man, we maximizing these opportunities to come together, Longhorn Nation, be together as one. That atmosphere was raucous, and that's exactly how I want it. The way our team plays with fanatical effort, physical, tough, we may not be perfect. That's okay. We'll keep working towards that, but we critique effort first. I feel like it's the same way for our fans, man. When they bring that energy, when they bring that sheer emotion, I mean, I don't think half the people even sat down the entire game. They were in it with us, and we felt like we were one with our fans, and that's what's going to make this place even more special than it already is. And so hopefully, as we continue to grow as a program, our fan base, our students continue to grow with us, that we can be special together, and we can make DKR one of the most difficult places to go play on the road for any team in the country.
On your left, Brian.
This actually kind of builds on that a little bit. After the game, Saban told his media that he said, Texas is going to be in the SEC, and they'd be in the top half of the SEC right now. And my question to you is that you've been on the sidelines, you've been there. Would you call that a typical SEC game, or would the intensity, the gamesmanship, all of that, or was it a little more amped up because of the surroundings?
So I think, first of all, to quote my old boss, we got to be careful of the rat poison of people telling us how good we are, which is important. A week ago, everyone told us how bad we were, and now this week everyone wants to tell us how good we are. And we got to be careful to quiet the noise outside of our building and focus on us, be enamored with us, and focus on our preparation. I think that's the first part. I think the SEC's got some great environments. You look across that league, having coached in it for 3 years, there's some tremendous environments to play in. Naturally, there's certain games, the build up and different things, it feels a little different than others, but that felt like that to me Saturday. It felt like that to me from the physicality of the game. It was a very physical football game. It felt that way to me with the investment from the fans. And it felt that way to me with it coming down to the last possession. That's a lot of those games do. So we don't have to worry about that for a while. Right. We gotta get ourselves back focused on the task at hand and what we're doing this year.
Stay on the left, Kirk.
Yeah, Demo and Anthony Cook, really leading tacklers, obviously had great games. Were there any other guys on defense that really kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, I thought a few guys up front really stood out to me. I thought Morrow had a very good game. I thought Coburn had a really good game, and I thought Byron Murphy had a really good game. Coburn, the fourth down stop that we make, and I know the runner trips over the center. I think part of that is because he's knocking the center back, and that's where the trip comes from. An unbelievable effort play from Murphy on Bryce Young scrambling where he trips his foot all the way on their sidelines, and you don't see guys doing those kinds of things. So that group played really well. I thought Ryan Watts had a really good football game, not only on defense but on special teams. I thought Jaron Thompson, what a hit in the hole of taking on a runner, a very talented player. I thought he played really well in the game. And then I also thought after the early part, things settled down. I thought Jalen Ford definitely had an impact on the game. So a lot of positives, got positive performances on the defensive side of the ball. And like I told the team, and in particular the defense, but the team in general, we've created and have now created a new standard of what's acceptable. What is our standard of play? And now we have to, that's what we're held to. We're held to the standard of defense that we're playing now, and now we need to meet that standard and exceed that. And so now is not the time to relax. Now is not the time to take a step back. Now is the time to push even harder to go to a new level.
You don't know how many players you played?
Not off the
defense?
top of my head.
Did you play a lot, though?
I really don't. Not off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Middle Roger.
Steve, you guys that you talked about, big names, household names that we don't know their status, but you talk about depth a lot. Sometimes it might go in one ear and out the other to the average fan, but now for you guys, the importance of constantly building depth and how key that is right now, and guys you lost in training camp.
Well, it is. I think that's the value of recruiting, and that's the value of practicing the way that we do, even in training camp. There's a reason we two-spot everything in training camp, where it's, we have the ones and the threes on one field and the twos and the fours on the other, so that everybody is practicing, everybody's repping plays, everybody's getting work, everybody's getting their film evaluated, so that we can build that depth, and it's mightily important. You never know when your number gets called. Prime example is Austin Jordan. We lose DJ early in the game with the ankle. Jameer Johnson's in the game. Ryan Watts has to come out, and Austin Jordan's in the game for about 15 plays as a true freshman. I don't know if he thought going into that game he was going to play 15 snaps, but he went in there, he played well, he tackled, and so that's the importance of it, is because you never know when your number's going to get called.
Back here on your left, Andy.
Steve, I don't know if this is asking you to tip your hand, but how effective has Roshan been in that Wildcat role going back to the Kansas State game last year, and how comfortable would you be having him?
Yeah, I think Rowe, naturally, that role is comfortable for him, being a high school quarterback. He's Rowe's a unique person, and you guys know I speak very highly of him as a person, and he's very dedicated to this program, and anything we ask of him to do, he does it, whether it's cover kickoffs, which he was tremendous at Saturday, to blocking, to running, to playing Wildcat quarterback, whatever we ask him to do, he does it. But I think he's more than equipped to handle the things we ask him to do in the Wildcat. We don't major in it, but the idea that we can get to it, I think is helpful for us as a football team.
On your right, CJ.
Coach, you mentioned the new standard of play defensively. What is it behind closed doors that you've seen from PK's unit, really getting prepared for these last 2 weeks?
Well, I think one, they are preparing. I really think the players have bought into the preparation aspect of the game and of the opponent. I think we're practicing better than we ever have. There's real intent. We're very deliberate in our approach at practice. I think we are communicating much better on the defensive side of the ball. One of the plays, the play in the end zone that was the potential safety, we had to change the call. And you can really see our guys communicating at a high level and getting, they wanted to get everybody on the same page, and we were able to do it. And obviously, got the quarterback hurry there. So I think all those things add up. And then ultimately, it's the effort. Our guys are playing hard. They're populating the ball. You can see the defensive linemen turn and break out of the line of scrimmage and run into the football. You can see safeties taking good angles. So all in all, I think there's a lot of things that are adding up to the product that we're getting on the field.
Over here on your far left, Cedric.
Yeah, building on what Brian asked, these guys are hearing over the weekend how great they played, and they entered the poll after a loss. How difficult is it for you as a coach to hit that reset button and let them know Alabama's in the past and there's a good team coming in here this weekend?
Well, I addressed it, that's for sure. I definitely wanted to address it because, I'm getting the text messages too. I'm getting the phone calls too. Hey, you guys are great. Man, you look great, this and that. Well, thanks, but, we got more work to do. We got to continue to improve. And I think that's one of the challenges. Human nature tells us, oh, good, I can relax now because I've arrived. And that's why I use the term better never rests. You know, we have to continue to strive to get better. You know, that when you start letting that noise in, that can create clutter as well. And we play better when we've got clarity. And, you know, we got to make sure that noise is outside of our building and not inside of our building, and that we focus on the task at hand. So so I kind of used the old rat poison analogy, which I always thought was fitting in moments like this.
On your far right, Joe.
Seems like UTSA's both guys who wear number 0 are their playmakers. So what does Rashad Wisdom do on the defense for them, and what does Frank Harris do at quarterback?
Well, I think Frank Harris, like I said, you know, he's a dual threat. You know, he can get the ball out quickly in a lot of their RPO game. He does a really nice job of giving his receivers an opportunity to make plays on the ball down the field. A lot of the fades and different things, inside fades. But then he can use his legs, you know, and he can hurt you with his legs, which clearly we struggled with last week, especially in the fourth quarter when we let Bryce get out of the pocket. So we've got to do a better job of, you know, our rush lane integrity and try to keep him contained. But also we got to play sticky coverage because he will make you pay, especially on the advantage throws, the RPO throws. Rashad on the back end, 4-year starter. You know, what can you say about the guy? You know, he's been a leader of that defense. You know, he plays the boundary safety. He's a very physical player, but yet he can run. But you definitely see he's the quarterback of that defense, and his leadership, you know, the guys definitely feed off of from him.
So time for 2 last ones. Start with Bob.
How difficult is it to prepare a game plan when you don't know who your quarterback's going to be every morning you get up? Like you said?
Sometimes it's easier than losing your quarterback on the first snap because you got one game plan and then, okay, now we got to shift it. So sometimes, you can assess the situation that you're in, and you're making sure that regardless of who's in there at quarterback, you know, you can operate. You're not got something for a specific guy. But, you know, we've got good coaches on offense. And we'll put together a plan that is conducive to the guys that we have or may have available to give them the best opportunity to be successful.
Last one, Brian.
Just real quick, now that you've seen it on film, are you okay with the decision on the safety that the
Yeah,
officials
that was the
made?
rule. So it wasn't about a decision. The rule was they can't review it. So it just is what it is.
Okay.